Barry, how's the trip been so far?
Oh, it's been a great trip. It's been a first class, I think bowl experience, and just can't, thank enough our, administration and Coach B just for, maximizing this experience for our players and the staff and the people that have worked all year long to help make this opportunity to come real. So it's been a great experience so far. Now it's time to start focusing in. Not that we haven't. Our guys have done a really nice job of. Now it feels like the game's looming. When we first got down here, it was a few days of getting organized and, getting our bearings about where we're at, where we're practicing. And now, as we approach, well, basically today was a Wednesday of a normal week. It's coming. It's coming fast, and we're excited about the opportunity.
What's the challenge of Zach's defense?
It's just so multiple, and they're good at it. There's a rhyme and reason to it, obviously, what they do and how they do it, but the multiplicity of the way they they just try to wreak a lot of havoc and confusion before you even get to the game. And it's a similar system to what we played against last year in the bowl game when we played against San Diego State. It's obviously from the Rocky Long Tree, and there's a handful of programs that know it and know it well, and obviously this is one of them, and they've done a fantastic job implementing their scheme over the last few years, and they know it well. And then you throw on the top, you got SEC talent, at all positions, and you got a recipe for a good defense.
You excited about the running back room? I know you'd rather have Chase here, but there's a potential to have a preview of what you're going to have in 2023 in this bowl game.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously the focus is trying to put our best foot forward to win the game, and we're going to feature those guys that we believe can help us do that. Obviously, and obviously to your point, it certainly does. With anticipation of giving you a preview of what that room will look like, and so I think those guys are excited about their opportunity, and that's what this, really, to be honest with you, and these bowl games have turned into, that process for a lot of position groups, and not necessarily here, just across the country, of guys getting their opportunity that have worked hard and have helped us along the way. Obviously Reggie, what he's done for us this past year, and the way he stepped in when he had his opportunity. I mean, game after game, time after time, he made plays for us in critical spots, and so we know that he's ready to step up and take that role. And it's been good to have Josh back in the fold to be healthy. So I'm excited to see how that unfolds.
What's been your experience in the portal this year? As you guys have approached it, you didn't really have as big of a say last year, obviously, because you just weren't here. How have you guys approached that this year?
Well, I think Coach has done I think every day is a new day in this business and this world the way it is. I mean, if you don't keep your ear to the ground, and know who's going in, and the anticipation of guys leaving, and that you're going to get left behind. And Coach, obviously there's only so much you can do until a guy gets in the portal. And I think with Coach's just the way he's got it structured internally with Jay Kaiser kind of being a point man for us, and but obviously we all are. We all read the internet, and I'll get a text message about, hey, just so you know, this guy's in the portal, if you're interested. So between all those things, you figure it out, who's available. But obviously it's about what you need, it's about, the mindset of kind of, to some degree, one for one, like you lose a guy and that you didn't anticipate losing, and you're like, okay, we need to go find a replacement that we think is similar and that can help plug in to the gap that's created. So it's an interesting time in our profession and our business as you build rosters, and I think Coach has got a really good feel of what we're looking for and how to go about doing it, and we're not rushing. Like you can't do it all at once. It's a process. Some guys you get earlier, and there'll be another wave of guys after the bowl games, and there'll be another wave of guys after the spring. So you just kind of keep staying in there until you piece all the pieces of the puzzle together for your season in 2023.
What did Tommy and your year with him help you guys sell whatever to quarterbacks in the portal?
Well, I think, obviously, I think the way that Tommy played, I mean, I think he would probably say he probably had his best year as a college player. He said he had a good year too at Syracuse. I think just his leadership and his experience obviously afforded us to be able to hit the ground running with him. And you could tell immediately you were coaching a veteran player that had played and had been well coached too, And so, but to be able to use him and for him to be instrumental in the wins that we had, obviously we ran the ball well and our defense was phenomenal, but without Tommy's play, I think he obviously had a huge hand in the way he played in games and made critical moments of us being, where we're at. And so I think another guy, when he leaves and there's recruiting opportunities to say, hey, this is what we just did with a guy that came in and you're one of our system. We got a lot of pieces of the puzzle back. I think that's as critical as anything is what you got around and support a guy, and I think we've got a lot to sell in that regard about what we anticipate coming back and who we've got around us offensively. And so it all goes together, and success breeds success. I really believe that. And obviously, hopefully that's going to hold true for us at all positions, in particular the quarterback position.
What's your knee-jerk reaction on what kind of a coach Art's going to be?
Well, knee-jerk reaction, I think he's going to be a phenomenal coach. That's not a, what do we call those, hard takes? Or hot takes, yeah. I don't know the lingo. That's not necessarily a hot take.
Right.
That's not really extending myself out there very far to say the Art's going to be a fantastic coach. I think you guys have all dealt with him, and been around him. I mean, the way he talks and the way he works, the way he understands football, he's got all the characteristics that are there to be an outstanding coach. And so, I know this was a hard decision for him to come to the point where he was like, I think it's time for me to go do that. I know he didn't just wake up one day and say, flip a coin and say, coach on heads and keep playing on tails. I mean, it took him a while to come to the conclusion that this was best for him. And we certainly supported that. We're anxious to help not maybe, but I think we're excited to be able to help springboard and start that, kind of bridge that gap between player and coach. And he'll be a great hand for us or for whoever else he ends up working for.
What does that do for your room, though, losing your backup, and you have two Cal's coming in and Donovan and Kirkland, obviously, this is some youth left in the room.
Yeah.
How do you bridge that youth, especially the backup spot?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I just think that's just kind of the nature of the position right now, and in football in general. You're going to have young guys. You're going to have some movement. I mean, obviously, we look at the three guys that you would say were 1, 2, and 3 this year, all vacated. So it creates an opportunity for the younger guys to be the next man up, to step up. And obviously, we want to have a roster that's at quarterback in particular that is sound and solid, and it's got depth, whatever age group that looks like. And so we're going to be a young group. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, we're going to be a young group as anticipation as we go into the season. Guys that hadn't played a lot of game experience, but maybe have gotten a lot of reps during practice and developmental. So the spring will be huge for us. I mean, it'll be absolutely critical. What's the good news is we don't have to do a new scheme. The guys around us, we're going in year 2 of the scheme, so that'll always make that transition a little easier.
How do you build depth in that room in the portal age?
Oh, I think you do it through. Relationships. I think you do it through honesty. I think you do it through transparency. I think you do it through having a guy that, wants to be in your program and wants to have the opportunity here and knows that, that necessarily moving around is not always the best option, because you move somewhere and then that picture changes, in a hurry for you. So I don't know those are just brainstorm ideas. I haven't really necessarily sat down and tried to, put a pin to that or whatever, but I think it's like all the other positions. There's a lot of moving parts, and you just got to stay on top of it and communicate with your guys and be on the lookout for guys that want to be here, that can help you. And I think we've got that in our room here. I think we got guys that they think Illinois is a great opportunity for them. They believe in what Coach Bielema is doing. They believe in what we're doing offensively and are committed to the process.
Barry, there seems to be a cliche talking point that this bowl prep and practices can lead into a spring, momentum-wise for a player. Do you buy into that, or is there too much time in between for anything to get lost?
No, I completely subscribe to that theory. I mean, I think that seen over and over again, the practices that we've had. Now, as we get down the stretch here, these practices are mostly focused on the guys that we anticipate being in the game. But with that said, there's guys that anticipate impacting the game that are going to use maybe a performance in the game to springboard their confidence to go forward to spring, which can build to better things. So, I think it really matters. Obviously, we want to win the game. We want to get to 9-4. We want to win a bowl game and prepare. That's what we came here to win. We didn't come here just to participate in it. And I know that Mississippi State's the same, and that's what makes these games good. You've got two teams that want to win a game, and but the young player, the guy that hadn't had as much role, or even a guy that's played all year long, this performance and the way they play in this game can have a really a strong impact on what spring ball looks like and the trajectory moving forward is.
We haven't gotten a chance to ask you about Cal. What do you like about his skill set? What's he bring to you guys when he gets here?
I'm good talking about him, right? Yeah, he's signed. Yeah, we're good. Okay, yeah. I just don't try to trick me. New Year's trick. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Cal's Cal's obviously as we went through the spring practice and our spring evaluation period and bounced around and watched a lot of different guys across the country. I mean, really, to be honest with you, from North Dakota to Florida and everywhere in between. We went and I went and watched some guys and tried to gather information on them, and actually kind of stumbled on Cal mid-flight or mid-trip to go to the East Coast. I was on the way to go to the East Coast and got some information from a guy here and sent some video here on a workout, and I was like, okay, and my flight was already delayed, so I rerouted my flight to Oklahoma to go catch his workout. And after gathering the information and watching him work out and spend some time with him on Zoom and talking football, I felt like he was a guy that obviously I think it's obviously he's very athletic, extremely athletic, quick, sudden, he's got a quick release, very accurate in the short intermediate stuff, comes from a competitive background and pedigree, coaches there love him, and so he had all the things that you were looking for from that standpoint. His junior year was really a good junior year, and this year he didn't have probably the same supporting cast that he had, and the coaches told us that going into the year, but they loved the way he competed and stayed true to who he is. He's a competitor. I'm probably not giving you enough adjectives, about what we saw in him and giving you more of the backstory, but we're thrilled to have him, and I think, as he hits, especially getting here in the spring, hits the ground running, weight training, developmental, he's been a multi-sport athlete. I think he's got a tremendous ceiling. He's got a lot of the core values and core traits that you're looking for in your quarterback.
Kind of a similar question.
Yeah.
Fagan, how do you feel about what you've seen about him, know about him?
I actually got a chance to see him play
Yeah.
in person, which was really pretty cool. I mean, so during the open date, I went and watched him and from ground level, and obviously he's a very big, strong, athletic young man, and he really impressed me that night when I was watching him. He's just, obviously, I know coaches address this, but for him to be the kind of the leader of the class, to step out and say, hey, I believe in this. This is what I want to do. Like, we're always going to be appreciative of that and thankful for him, because I think he did have a great impact on the rest of the class, and seeing somebody so recruited and so, visible to step out and say, hey, I want to do this. And so, but big, strong, athletic, powerful. I mean, we're excited to put him in the backfield and get him going downhill.